Okay, I'm going to give you 3 more examples of how you would multiply using that formula that we talked about. So the formula that we talked about was n, which is the whole number, times AB, which is the fraction, and it's a unit fraction, is the same as n times A over B. So that's the formula that we are going to be working because we are multiplying a fraction by a whole number. So let's get started with example number 1. The example is 3 times 4 fifths. So let's plug it into our formula. So the n is 3, right? The AB is 4 fifths equals, now this is not a unit fraction. So we want to make this into a unit fraction. So what we would do is this would become what times 1, the unit fraction is 1/5. What times 1/5 would give us 4 fifths? Well, 4 times 1/5 would give us 4 fifths. So now I'm going to rewrite my problem. So we have 3 times what we changed 4 fifths to, which is 4 times 1/5, because remember, it's just another way to write that fraction. And now we're going to solve. So we're going to do the whole numbers first. So 3 times 4 times 1/5. So we're doing the whole numbers first. So 3 times 4 is 12 times 1/5 equals 12 fifths. Now, if I changed 12 fifths, you could change 12 fifths to a mixed number, but I'm going to leave it as an improper fraction. This is the same thing as writing 3 times 4 over 5. 3 times 4 over 5 would give you 12 fifths. This is just telling you that your knowledge of unit fractions is going to help you when you are multiplying fractions that have a higher numerator. Okay, so let's do another example. So the next example is 5 times 7/12. Now you'll notice 7/12 is not a unit fraction. If I was to write a multiplication fact to represent this fraction by a whole number and a fraction, it would be 7 times 1/12. Okay, so I'm just changing 7/12 into a multiplication number model with a unit fraction. So now I'm going to rewrite my problem. 5 times 7 times 1/12. And now I'm going to solve. I'm going to do the whole numbers. So 5 times 7 times 1/12. And I know 5 times 7 is 35 times 1/12. And you should get 35 twelfths. It is the same thing as writing 5 times 7 over 12. And where am I getting that 5 times 7? From our formula, n times A over B. So this is the n times A over B. N times A over B. Okay, last example. This example is going to be a little bit trickier because we are using a mixed number. So the problem is 4 times 1 1/3. 4 times 1 and 1/3. So we're going to do 2 steps. First, we're going to change 1 and 1/3 to a improper fraction, which would be 4/3. Then we're going to change it again to a multiplication number model using a unit fraction, which would be 4 times 1/3. All 3 of these represent the same amount. So now we're going to solve. 4 times 4 times 1/3. So I'm going to do 4 times 4 first, and then multiply it by 1/3. So 4 times 4 is 16 times 1/3. And now it's a whole number and a unit fraction, so we just do 16/3. This is the same as the problem was 4 times 4/3, right? Because we changed it to an improper fraction. So you would do 4 times 4 over 3. And that would be your answer.